Nice push that bitch. No, wake up. You came to my fucking gym with it. Like baby weight.
I recently stumbled across this Instagram page called Train to Failure, and their training style is intense to say the least. I would even call these guys the David Goggins of weightlifting, and their training clips have gone pretty viral. They've even done collabs with popular fitness influencers like professional fake natty Hassan Farouche and William Tennyson. Their training style embodies this new trend of fitness where you train at a super high intensity and always go to failure. But is this training style necessary to achieve great results? I'll be taking a look at that in this video. First, let's take a look at a couple of their training clips so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
It should be like too easy.
Man, fuck you.
I'm gonna show you what I mean when I say it be like too easy. I don't got no belt on or nothing. It should be like baby weight.
Pull it all the way up.
The fuck you wanted that?
That's what I'm saying. You're saying it's too easy. Yeah. Pull it all the way up. I love motherfuckers.
No, motherfucker! No, wake up! You came to my fucking gym with a chain on, earrings. I should have really fucking shot you. Yeah. Go! I'm trying, man. I'm trying. You try hard. I'm fucking trying. Come on, let's go. Work.
Play yourself.
Yeah, figure that out. Come on, bro. You're not push that bitch.
You running away?
They're not
you keep putting it down.
Bitch, bro.
If you put it quick, go.
Pick that shit up and rack it.
Get it up.
So you can clearly see these guys go super intense. They promote this super intense training style where they often want you to go past failure and lift as heavy as possible. The guy in the first clip claims that the weight is too light when it's far too heavy. Dude uses a ton of momentum and pretty much only uses his low back and legs to lift the weight up. The second and third guys were completely done, and these guys kept forcing them to do more weight to where they were pretty much just humping the weight up and down. And throughout that entire process, 0 reps were completed. Again, their entire training philosophy is to lift as heavy as possible and to never stop or give up. When hearing this advice, it initially sounds pretty good. They have that David Goggins mentality for weightlifting and understand that you have to work hard to get results. But when you actually analyze their training style, if their goal is to achieve the highest level of fitness possible, which may or may not be their goal because they may actually be training for mental strength, this is a terrible way to go about it. So many people nowadays have this illusion that fatigue equals fitness. The more tired you get during a workout means the better results you're gonna get. They base their entire workout success based on how tired they get or how tired they can make somebody. Let's be honest, we've all heard someone go, "Oh, my coach gave me the best workout, bro. I was so exhausted at the end." This flawed mentality leads to people chasing fatigue, not fitness. I heard a saying that I really like when referring to this training philosophy, which is any idiot can make another idiot tired. All of us watching these guys train or watching these guys train other people can do the exact same thing. Just force someone onto a bench press, give them a weight they can do for about 15 reps, and make them get 100 reps in one sitting and they cannot stop until they get it. I don't care if your goal is strength, power, hypertrophy, or endurance. Chasing fatigue is not going to be the best way to get results. Believe it or not, exercise is stress. Applying the right amount of stress to your body leads to you adapting to it and creating adaptations. For example, lifting weights is stressing your body. When applied at the right amount, your muscles grow bigger and stronger. But if you give your body too much stress, you're not going to get the adaptations you're looking for. Higher workload or intensities create more fatigue that needs more recovery. You may have heard this and think, "It's not bad, man, as long as you can recover from it." While you want enough stress to create the adaptation, if it's too great, it's actually counterproductive since you overwhelm your body with fatigue that diminishes adaptation. It's kind of like taking medicine. If you take the correct dosage, it's good. But if you take too much, it's dangerous. We need to understand that there is a point of diminishing returns when it comes to training that is too excessive to recover from. The purpose of fitness is to build fitness, not fatigue, although you will get some fatigue if you're training the right way. So training like these guys and basing how successful your workout is based on how fatigued you get is quite silly. There's a reason why rest times are important. Lower rest times doesn't make you tough. It just makes you stupid. Your ability to push through fatigue doesn't always lead to more results. Being able to perform at a high level during sets is what's actually important, and you need rest to be able to do this. Let's take a look at that one guy bench pressing again. They keep throwing him down to do more reps when he needs to rest so he can come back and perform the reps at a high level. So although this training style is super intense and requires a lot of mental strength, most people don't train this way, nor should they if they're looking to maximize results. And although 99.9% of people are not training at this high of an intensity, it does show the importance of volume and intensity for maximizing results. You need to find the right balance between the correct amount of stress and too much stress or even too little stress at times. To do this, you first want to make sure that you have enough stress in your program, so enough volume and enough intensity to stimulate the adaptation. If you don't have a particular level of intensity or a particular amount of volume in your program, you're not going to get any results. A good example to look at intensity is walking. You may walk a lot and get a lot of steps in, but if you don't walk at a high enough intensity, you aren't going to stimulate any sort of endurance adaptation. A good example for looking at volume is lifting weights heavy once a month. Sure, you may be training hard at the perfect intensity, but you don't have enough volume to gain any meaningful amount of muscle or strength. A super simple way to think of volume and intensity is that the primary trigger for the adaptation is the intensity, and the volume is kind of like an amplifier, with volume and intensity being inversely proportional, so you can't have both. You can't train at a high intensity for high volumes, but you can train at a low intensity for high volumes. Doing a low volume of low intensity work won't do anything, but doing a low volume of high intensity work will. When it comes to the right intensity, it's usually determined by what kind of adaptation you're looking to build. A good example to look at the differences is sprinting and jogging. Both sprinting and jogging are a form of locomotion, but since they both are different intensities, you're going to get different adaptations doing one versus the other. Because sprinting is high intensity, you can't do as much volume, and because jogging is lower intensity, you can do a little bit more volume of it. When it comes to selecting the right volume, I find that it's not as black and white. First, I personally found that everybody responds to a different amount of volume better, so you kind of have to play around and find out which one's the best for you. But regardless of what the ideal volume is for you, you want to try and use the minimum effective dose principle. This essentially means that we want to use the lowest intensity, which again is heavily determined by what adaptation you're looking to develop, and the lowest amount of volume needed to maximize results. An example using hypertrophy training is, let's just say someone responds the same to 12 sets per muscle group per week and 18 sets per muscle group per week. You should do 12 sets, not 18 sets, as 12 sets maximize the results while accumulating the least amount of fatigue. Less fatigue will lead to lower recovery requirements, which will lead to better results, since you'll be able to perform at a higher level in your next sessions and you're going to recover better. And we can't forget that recovery is when you actually create the new adaptation. The same logic can be applied to endurance training. If you get the same results from 2 60-minute zone 2 workouts and 2 90-minute zone 2 workouts, for example, you should do the 2 60-minute zone 2 workouts. Always do the lowest dosage that maximizes results. This becomes even more important when you're training multiple different things, which is why I'm a big fan of block training. If you want to learn more about block training, I have a free course in my free community. You may be wondering, how do I know what the best dosage is for me? 2 words: program management. Program management is essentially tracking your progress through a training block, then evaluating the results and adjusting if needed. AKA, in order to find the best volume for you, it's essentially trial and error. The way that you're able to tell a certain volume's effectiveness is first looking at objective measures, which is the most effective. For hypertrophy, this can be frequent DEXA scans, weight changes, or strength gains. For endurance, the easiest ones are resting heart rate, which should go down, and HRV, which should go up. This is a great way to see how well a certain volume is doing. You essentially just compare your initial measures with your current measures and try to see the general trend and how much you're improving. The next way you're able to tell a certain volume's effectiveness is subjective measures. Subjective measures are essentially just like looking at yourself and seeing how you look, analyzing how you feel, or subjectively analyzing performance. Using subjective measures is probably the best for analyzing if you're using too much volume, since you're just going to find yourself overly fatigued if you can't handle the volume that you're currently doing. When trying to compare data, you want to stick to a certain volume or certain intensity for at least like 8 to 12 weeks so that you give enough time to see general trends. And based on the results, you can either stay with the current volume or try out a new volume and see how your body responds to it. Doing this will allow you to see what your body actually responds well to. And of course, once you try out a few different volumes, just select the lowest volume that maximizes results. So back to the train to failure group. Hopefully these guys are doing this training style for mental benefits, because for building fitness, it's not a great way to train. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the train to failure training style. And I recently made a video going over why many bodybuilders are quitting bodybuilding, which you should check out.